Yes, it's finally here, guys. Rogue One. I feel like I've been waiting years for this, and it's finally arrived. And I've seen it, and I've actually seen it, guys. Oh, I'm so excited. Which means that I'm here right now, and I'm ready to give you guys my review. And I just want to assure anyone who's watching this that this is spoiler free. No spoilers to be found here. Many would say these aren't the spoilers you're looking for. If you do want some spoilers though, I've got this arrow here pointing to a pop-out right here. And that should take you to my spoiler-filled thoughts and review. And if it doesn't, then the video doesn't exist yet. So check back if you're interested. But for now, I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Rogue One where I'm just going to talk about the lead up to it and some of my fears, and then I'll take an actual look at the film and we should be done. So it should be like a breezy 5 minutes. So roll the clocks back to about 2012. After Disney announced they'd be doing Star Wars films every year, a main one and a spin-off, there was of course the usual kind of people going, Disney just wants to squeeze all the money out and stuff like, they're just going to be pumping out the movies and they're going to be no good. And then they went, got Gareth Edwards, the director of that 2014 Godzilla film, which is like easily my favorite Godzilla film, along with the Lego movie directors and Josh Tranks for nothing, who directed the Fantastic Boar. So a bit of a mixed bag, and luckily Trank was kicked off. But of course, episode 7 came out, and being that it was written and directed by one of the best modern directors working today, it was alright. That is to say, nearly universal praise with fresh life and even, may I say, a new hope in what Disney was doing with Star Wars. After that, Disney hit another home run with the first Rogue One trailer, which was pretty darn well received. But there were whispers. Words like extensive reshoots were thrown about, which is something we've had all too much negative experience with this year. Even though every film has reshoots. But the reason they were doing this was alleged story problems, and they had to bring in different writers and directors, and the composer was switched out because scheduling and just harrowing flashbacks were starting to roll in. So by now, you might be wondering if, after all this work and effort, not by us, we just sat back and waited, but by Disney, that we might be back at the prequels. Which, by the way, technically this is, but you've all seen the Mr. Sunday Movies videos things. Well, guess what? Rogue One is good. Just to put in ease some of the things you might be thinking after that spiel, you don't even notice it. All the reshoots and stuff, you don't even notice it. In fact, if it hadn't been for all the news of the backstage hijinks I was reading all year, I would have never have guessed any of it. And that's because the film works really well. The narrative is solid and makes sense, but I feel I should say, this is different to any other Star Wars film we've ever seen. At first, well, maybe like the first 15 minutes, the difference was a little jarring to me, but then it hit me. The difference was the beauty of the film. Although we're in that kind of New Hope time period, Gareth Edwards manages to do this thing where he will show you things you sort of know, but in a totally new light. This pretty much affects everything. The visuals are grand and spectacular, the action is intense and gritty. In fact, I'd even go as far to say that this is the grittiest Star Wars film to date. And the sense of scale and perspective is insane. One thing I really loved about Gareth Edwards' Godzilla was that sense of perspective. When Godzilla was above the characters, he was above us. And it works so well in Rogue One. When a Star Destroyer is hovering, it hovers over us. When Stormtroopers are shooting, we're actually in the action. And when the Death Star rises from the horizon and it looks down on us, we feel the fear as it looms. Oh, it's spectacular. But, visuals do not a good film make. And like I said, the narrative is solid, so there's only really one more important thing that we need to talk about here. The characters. You can have the greatest story and the most spectacular visuals ever committed to film, but if you don't get the characters right, your film will be poop. Of course, Rogue One does get the characters right, not be poop. Rogue One does get the characters right. Felicity Jones is perfect as the lead of Jyn Erso and carries the film really well. All her character motivations and choices feel motivated and make sense. She's charming, fun, and totally believable in this film. Diego Luna as Cassian Andor as well portrays a very different kind of rebel to what we've seen before and does it with some fantastic acting chops. Let me just say, he's definitely not like a Han Solo archetype as some feared, and he's just really great in this film. The rest of the cast are all really good too. Mads Mikkelsen, Mendo, and one fun standout was Alan Tudyk's K2SO. He's always able to deliver hilarious lines at well-timed moments that make sense for the character to say. That's right, Star Wars hasn't fallen into quips. Not yet. And that's really it. I can't really think of any negatives that are even worth talking about. Heck, even the CGI and sets are spectacular. The only reason I could imagine someone not enjoying this film or liking it is them not understanding its purpose. But, you're all smart. Everyone watching this video is smart, so I'll say this. Go and see it. Rogue One is a fantastic installment into the Star Wars franchise that hits on all the right notes. It's fun, action-packed, intense, different, everything it promised to be. See it. You're gonna see it anyway. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, you can come back here in a couple of days to check out my spoiler thoughts and review on this film. But what did you think of Rogue One? Let me know down below. Jay Grizzle, out.